Hi, I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. And this is, for many of you, uh, day what of your quarantine? You know, day 5, day 10, day 20, uh, second month, second week of your individual quarantine. And for some of y'all, it's this thing is quite interesting. It's um, it's kind of surreal. It's like being in a bubble where you can walk by and see people, but you can't touch them. Can't shake their hands. You can drive by and look at them um, a gas pump away. I don't think any of us ever thought we would see it come to that. And I don't think any of us ever thought that like this doomsday stuff would ever come about. Not quite like the movies, but we could see where it could easily get there. And so, what happens if it does? Because we just saw something very interesting happen in the United States over the past weekend. We saw the global pandemic get politicized. And what does that mean for your motorcycle club? So, we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. If you find this content to your liking, please like and share this video. And if you find the page to your liking, please like and follow the page. You can also follow us on Black Dragon Biker TV on Facebook and Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram TV. So, wow, man. Over the weekend, you had all these folks uh, protesting, coming together and protesting and saying that they felt like their political freedoms and their religious freedoms were being taken away, and absolutely their financial security by these very stringent shelter in place orders, where some people have been ticketed, fined, and even taken to jail for being out and about in the public sphere during what the government, local governments, federal governments, and municipalities call a global pandemic. Thank you for that donation. I certainly do appreciate it. Uh, Disappeared off my screen. I want to thank you for that. I couldn't see your name. Um, but now they're saying, "Gee, you're taking our freedoms. You're This is all BS." And you know, 90% of the people that get this are going to survive it. So what the hell do we even care about the other group of folks? Dion Smith, thank you very much. So what do we even care about the other folks? Hey, we've only lost 10,000 people. So what is all this hype, this governmental hype? And personally, I don't really care which side of the fence you fall on. I was social distancing 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe even a month before they even said to social distance. I don't need the government to tell me when it's time for me to make a move, one way or the other, for my safety or for my family's safety. It's kind of like having a football player as a uh, role model. Like like who has a football player as a role model? Who does that? My role models are preachers and scientists and great leaders and stuff. It's not some guy throwing a damn pigskin or throwing a ball in a hoop. So when Charles Barkley famously blasted out, "I'm not a role model," you damn sure aren't. Not for my kids or for me. You're a guy that I might bet on to hit a couple of hoops. That's about it. So the government, I kind of feel the same way about the government. When the doctors started saying, "Hey, if you got diabetes, high blood pressure, and underlying diseases, this disease will kill you," I was like, "Oh, that's me. They're talking about me. That disease will kill me. I know what to do. I'll disappear somewhere to a mountainous area, uh, by a beautiful lake, and become a hermit for a little while until they get this thing sorted out. So you don't have to take away any of my rights or any of that stuff. I can do it all on my own." But my question is, how does the motorcycle club survive the politics of a global pandemic? And my motorcycle club is one of those that is really kind of interesting because I have a mixed race club. So we got all races there, and each race has its own bias about something. So we got never Trumpers and forever Trumpers in the same club. And those kinds of politics can destroy a motorcycle club. It can destroy any kind of a nation. It can tear you apart, tear you down. We have those kinds of challenges even during the best of times, even when there's nothing going on, even when there's no crises. Just because you have all these different folks and you have the ability to have all these different kinds of opinions. Clubs that are single race or everybody's a Christian or everybody's a this or everybody's a that, they don't necessarily have as many diverse opinions and beliefs and belief systems as do we. And it's an interesting thing to manage. So we have some rules in our club. One is that we don't do politics. We don't call each other by racial epithets. We stay away from hot button issues that could tear the whole club down, and it's just absolutely not tolerated at all whatsoever, period. The big thing that the motorcycle club has to be aware of is no matter what goes on, survival of the MC is paramount. What are we doing to ensure our long-term survival as a club? Damn what they're doing. If they're marching in the streets, fine. If they are rioting, fine. If they are practicing social unrest, fine. I want to know where all my brothers and sisters are. Are they safe? And do we need to kind of bug out to some kind of safe zone or some kind of safe location? Do we have that together? Do we have a system together that allows us to meet in one area with everybody surrounded by the weaponry we need for the MC to survive? The politics of the global pandemic can get so bad that you have looting in the streets and shooting and race war kicks off, all this kind of stuff people are predicting. But the brotherhood of the MC, that's your strength. That's how you know you're not alone. You've got these folks you've built this relationship with over the years. And these folks can protect you. So that's what I'm thinking about when I see all of this nonsense going on. People marching and coming together and holding hands during a pandemic where the disease is so virulent and we don't know how it's really transferred, but these folks want to come out, and that's because there's no trust. There's no trust. We don't trust the government. We don't trust the news. We don't trust each other. We don't trust anything. We don't believe in a damn thing. Some of us don't even trust God. And in an environment when you can't trust anyone and you don't know what to believe, many of us will believe anything. Believe on this. Believe in the strength of the brotherhood of your MC. Those are folks that are tried, true, and tested for the most part. They've been around you for a long damn time. So use those folks as your strength. Use those folks to meditate with, speak with, talk with, plan with, and see yourself a plan to help you avoid mischief and mayhem, because it's ready. It's ready to pop off. Another 30 days of social distancing mandated by the government. You can see anything happen in this country. You got religious folks that said, we don't give a damn. We believe in God, and we're going to meet on Sunday, on Easter, and do whatever the hell we want to do. This is our religious right under the First Amendment and other amendments. We don't care. If God wants us to die, then we'll die. Next to a governor that says, yeah, well, if you guys do that, you can infect an entire city just from the gathering of 200, 300, 400 members of your church. We've said there can't be any gatherings of more than 10 people. And here you're going to have folks drive down from infested New York and places like that. I remember this one church in Kansas had 2 women drive in from New Jersey to worship with them on Easter Sunday. And of course, we know New Jersey and New York are the hot spots for the virus. So they could potentially come down, spread the virus to your congregation. They say in Louisiana, they were able to track that outbreak to I think 4 funerals. So so one mass gathering or 4 mass gatherings decimated an entire area. So you're going to do that. And if you do that, you're going to overrun my hospitals. And you're going to overrun, the governor says you're going to overrun my hospitals. You're going to overrun my staff. And you're going to make an unnecessary situation happen for us because of what you want to do in with your religious service. Your religious service puts us all in jeopardy. So he gets on with his sheriffs and highway patrol and stuff like that, and they're at this place of worship with cameras. I bet you bikers have seen that before. Isn't that interesting? They're at your function with cameras, taking down license plate numbers and stuff. Did you ever think you'd see that at a church? Kind of interesting. Where citizens get to understand how we feel. And as you're coming and going, some guy from the government's writing down your license plate so they can look you up later and find out who you are and do whatever they're going to do, harass you or whatever. Wow, sounds familiar. That's almost exactly like profiling. Kind of feels like profiling, doesn't it? And well, I bet we never thought we'd see that before. And the governor says, now all you people that went there are going to have to social distance for 14 days, you're going to have to go into self-quarantine for 14 days. And what happens if you don't? How will they know that you're in self-quarantine? Well, they've taken your phone number and license plate and all that stuff. Hey, Black Dragon, can you make a statement about blocked people on YouTube, live stream, chat room? Not sure what you're talking about. But you got all this, these guys looking at you, and how are they going to know whether you social distanced or not? What are they going to do? Are they following you now? Is someone, not even social distance, they told you have to self-quarantine. Okay, you went to the church, now you have to self-quarantine, and we'll be watching. I wish the hell you wouldn't self-quarantine. We will be watching. So now you know, if you went to that church, that somebody from the government could be watching you. Sounds almost like bikers, doesn't it? Huh? So, the question you have to ask yourself is, with all this silliness going on, where does my protection come from? Who do I have that's backing me? If my government is actively watching me, and it might be for a good reason. Hey, if you believe that all of this coronavirus stuff is real, and lots of people could die if we don't do the right things, then this is right for you. Everything they're doing is right and justified. Bring the National Guard out. Do it all, baby. These folks ain't listening. We got to do it all. It's absolutely right for you. But if you don't believe in all that, then this is wrong for you. And you're going to do, at some point, you might do anything to stop all this. That puts the country in a very weird situation. Like you thought you might not ever see a revolution again. And you might be staring one directly in the face. So, this is where you need to become, really, really forward thinking and forward planning. What plan does your MC have in place to take care of its members during the fallout from the global pandemic politics? Might be something to think about. Might be something to meet about. Might be something to discuss. We're not supposed to be touching our face. None of that. It's hard, right? It's hard not to scratch your face. But what's harder is trying to survive when you have National Guards in your street. See, I've seen it before. I've had the National Guard in my streets. I had the National Guards in the street, National Guard in the street, when I was a young man back in the 90s. And there was this riot in California when Rodney King was killed. And I never saw anything more terrifying than a tank or an armored vehicle, Humvee thing, rolling down the street with guys in green with machine guns, 19 years old, like they knew a damn thing. Certainly when to shoot or when not to. So these are things that we don't expect to see in our neighborhoods and in our cities, but they are things that are with us right now. It's happening today. And if the defecation comes into direct contact with the roto oscillating cooling unit, shit hits the fan. What do you and your brothers have planned to take care of you? And somebody says, I think it's real, just not as big as the media makes it. I don't know. I don't know. Who really knows? For all of us, it's a guess. The media comes up with something new every day. We know the media. See, here's the problem with the media. They've screwed themselves. They've screwed their own um, credibility. They didn't need Donald Trump to do that for them. If you are a biker that wears a patch, you've known about the media since the Hells Angels movies of the 60s. They've always villainized bikers, made up lies about us, sensationalized things that were true about us, because that sells papers. Not that we don't have issues, not that we don't have outlaws and gangsters and people who break the law. Certainly we have that. But what's up, Ironhead? But those of us that are in the life also see how the media has sensationalized it to make a buck. So we're absolutely skeptical when we know how they can be. We know how you get down, media. So now they could be telling the exact 100% truth. And they are the proverbial boy who cries wolf. Not believable at this point. Not credible at this point. And same thing with politicians. We've seen them do terrible, nasty things. If you were a black man living in the South during the turn of World War II, the government decided that it would use syphilis in a study to see how black folks reproduced and how black men had sex. They would follow this by injecting them with syphilis and seeing how many women they got ill. And the government prevented them from getting any treatment. And this went on for 30 years. If you were in World War II and you were a sailor on a ship when they were dropping the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, you saw the government take a bunch of these ships, set them off the coast, and allow those guys to get hit with the backwash of the radiation poison, just to see what it would do. So like the media, the government's been involved in a whole bunch of bullshit too. So we know how they get down. We know how they get down. So a lot of us, we don't trust none of them suckers. Thank you there, South Georgia Indian Rider. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. My award has been postponed, but they still going to have income, so I can't wait to get it. I'm kind of excited about that, so thank you. So anyway, they've done it to themselves. Politicians, lying, cheating, stealing, anything to move their careers forward. We've all seen that, and we've all seen the media do its thing. So they could all be telling the truth right now. Hey man, y'all better do this or else. And they've just cried wolf too many times for anybody to really believe them. So I bring this all back to, if we are in the new reality, the new normal is going to be very different. And people that have had agendas against us for a long time will be able to really move those agendas forward now in the interest of safety, in the interest of public health. They'll be able to do a lot to us cats gathering together in groups to ride as motorcycle clubs, to ride as one. There'll be a lot that will be different. And maybe the MC world will be different too. It might be really difficult to survive the politics of the global pandemic. Make sure that you're getting your brothers and sisters ready, because we might have a real fight on our hands this time. So, just some food for thought. We've got gear, blackdragonsgear.com. Go over there and get some of our gear and support the channel. All of our books are over there. Good news on the Prospects Bible. It is close. Working on it hard to get it done. You can also check us out on bikerliberty.com. That's our online magazine. And the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos is our podcast. We can be found on Black Dragon Biker TV on YouTube, Black Dragon Biker TV on Facebook, Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram, and Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram TV. I think that covers it all. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear yours in the comment section below. You need to get yourself together if you have these underlying health conditions. Get your ass out here and walk. Get off that medicine. It's time now to become a vegetarian or whatever it is you're going to do to get yourself together. At least that's my plan. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.